We've got an interesting little update on the development of Grand Theft Auto 6, and it actually means good news for Rockstar Games. We'll be talking about all of that in this video today and a whole lot more. Alright, so this conversation all stems from the new reports that PlayStation 5 Pro is set to come out in holiday 2024, and there's a handful of other PlayStation upgrades that are going to be happening throughout the year and throughout next year. And Insider Tez Funds 2 responded to this saying this: I heard it from a game dev at the time. He was doubtful of its existence. And I was told that Sony doesn't prefer to send out dev kits when most of the dev team isn't at office. And most studios started doing a forced return to office policy 3 or 2 months ago. So we're going to be talking about a term that you've probably just heard a lot of over the last 3 years. Honestly, probably are sick of hearing it, and that is work from home. Obviously, with the pandemic, there was a new normal that was established, especially during the early on parts of the pandemic when things were a little bit unknown and we weren't really sure how things were going to work. We were all working from home. And since things have returned to a more usual normal, it's kind of been a little bit different. Some people still working from home, some people doing sort of a hybrid, some people are fully going back to the office, and it looks like that a lot of these big development teams are being forced to return back to the office as of 3 to 2 months ago. And there's a specific reason for this, because Sony does not want to send out its development kits when most of the team is not at the office. And this is actually something we talked about from the Grand Theft Auto 6 leaks that occurred back in September. I think one of the big reasons why those leaks happened is because Rockstar was forced to send data over these internal Slack channels for people that were working at home versus working at the office. Now, I'm not saying working from home is the only reason why the GTA 6 leak happened. I feel like that wouldn't be fully truthful, but it did play some role because we knew that some of that footage wouldn't be out there if it didn't have to be transported from office to home and vice versa. Now, more follow-up to this entire situation, as someone ended up asking about that, saying, but I vaguely remember last year you said you're fairly certain that the dev kits would be at least in the hands of the first-party devs before the end of 2022. Or am I mixing it up with something else, which I apologize in advance? And side note, would you describe Rockstar's approach to work-from-home situation in recent months more like Activision Blizzard management, mandatory, or is it closer to how EA and some other worldwide studios handle it? And he said, yeah, I said they had either already have them or should receive them by the start of this year, but things always get pushed back. Latest update I heard is that Rockstar and select others are set to receive them soon. The sooner, the more time Rockstar would have to factor in the midlife upgrades for GTA 6. Last year, Rockstar had a voluntary policy of hybrid approach where devs who prefer to work fully from home can stay working remotely, and those who prefer to work in the office can come to the office. This year, much like Activision, which is also a hybrid approach, but mandatory return to the office. You know, from what I'm hearing, it's not getting better for those who desire remote work in the coming months. Okay, so basically what he's doubling down here is saying that, yes, they should have started to receive them, but as you know, there's always a delay with stuff like this. It usually gets pushed back, but the latest update is some good news, and that Rockstar is set to receive them soon. And the sooner they get them, the more time Rockstar would have to develop sort of the midlife upgrades for GTA 6. And what I think he's saying here is the midlife upgrades that they're going to be able to put into the game because of the new hardware that's going to be coming out. Or they're going to be able to design specific things for the PlayStation 5 Pro and whatever the next generation version of the Xbox Series X is going to be. The double X, the triple X, who knows what they're ultimately going to call it. But this is going to be a set of even more powerful consoles that will allow Rockstar to do more with Grand Theft Auto 6. So that part is obviously great news. I can only imagine that this is going to be one of the most powerful games of all time that requires some of the most powerful hardware. of all time. Now, going into the second paragraph, we dive into the approach that Rockstar has had over the last couple of years. They had a voluntary policy of hybrid approach, meaning if you wanted to fully work from home, you could. If you wanted to come into the office on some days, you could. Now, what Rockstar is doing is a mandatory approach where you might be able to work from home some days, but certain days you do have to come back into the office. And it looks like as we get further and further into the future and farther away from the pandemic, this is something that's only going to increase, meaning there's going to be more work from office days than there are work from home days. Now, according to a couple people in the know that have an idea of what's going on at the Rockstar Studios, for now, only certain days are mandatory return to the office, but 2 of those days can still be work from home, at least in some of the studios. Now, I think this worldwide trend of returning to the office is something that's just going to naturally occur, but I think for Rockstar, it's something that they're definitely going to encourage sooner rather than later, especially due to the fact that the Grand Theft Auto 6 leaks were in some way impacted or caused by work from home hybrid options where data, footage, and whatnot has to be shared over these Slack channels, Discord, whatever the case might be, in order to work with people that might be in one location versus another location. And again, I don't think it was 100% of the reason, because if it was, Rockstar would have immediately sent everyone back to the office with no exceptions, which would also cause some developers to probably leave. Rockstar Games Insider Tez Funds 2 has also talked about that when you bring people back to the office, you're going to lose a little bit of your workforce, as there's just some people that are now only comfortable working from home or only capable working from home or need a hybrid situation, and Rockstar might not necessarily offer all that. Now, thankfully, all the way around, everything should be okay, as most modern developer kits allow remote access anyways, meaning you'd be able to use them from your home. The only problem is if you have bad internet, which I'm sure many people can relate to, you're kind of in a tough spot because your ability to work on that is really all dependent on how fast your upload and your download speed is. So if that's not good, that might not be an option for you. And honestly, this might be something that Rockstar's waiting on before they actually reveal Grand Theft Auto 6. They might want to know, okay, when are we going to be able to put this game out on the PlayStation 5 Pro and the mid-life upgrade version of the Xbox Series X? And that might be what they're waiting on, because it might only arrive on the Pro version of those consoles, or they might have some disclaimer that says runs best on a Pro version or a midlife upgrade version of the Xbox Series X. That could just be a factor here. So let me know what you guys think in those comments down below, or of course you can reach out to me on my Facebook page, where as always you can send messages, photos, videos, and a whole lot more. What do you think of sort of this development update for Grand Theft Auto 6? Do you think this is good news for Rockstar, good news for Sony? Do you think it's going to coincide and be good news for everyone? Again, let me know what you're thinking down below. If you guys did go on to enjoy this video, though, a like rating would of course be awesome. And be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new. You want to stay up to date on all latest GTA and all the Rockstar Games videos that I'll be doing here on my channel. And be sure to ring that notification bell as well. Sometimes YouTube just doesn't work, and if you ring that bell, you'll always be guaranteed to be notified when new videos arrive. But of course, as always, guys, thank you all so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.